There is a success theory called the winner effect. Every win you make causes chemical changes within the brain. For example, there was a rigged mice fight. A group of scientists gathered some mice and staged some easy wins for them. So they'd fight small, sedated mice and win 3 fights. 1 or 2 wins didn't make much of a difference, but once they stacked 3 wins, now that's when the fun begins. After 3 wins, these mice would face some real competition. A larger mouse, who had won some fights before back when he was young. And guess what? 8 out of 10 mice won the fight against a larger mouse, whereas the mice without any wins only won 2 out of 10 times against a larger mouse. The lesson is, if you get 3 wins, whether it's staged, fake, or imaginatory, you'll be 60% more likely to win against that larger mouse. We'll discuss what those wins are later in the video, but before then we must ask ourselves a question. Wait, does 3 wins mean consecutive wins? What if I lose? Is there the opposite of the winner effect? And the answer is yes. If you meet neglectful parents that talk down to you, bullies that just attack out of nowhere, or see yourself underperform, you're likely to do worse. There was a test in a university that was rigged to lose. So imagine getting a question right, but the professor saying, nah, you're wrong, and check it out. Testosterone levels would drop by 17%, leading to worsened performance. And here's the thing, just as universities rigged this test to make us lose, there are many things in our society that are rigged to make us lose. Rich dad, poor dad, nepotism, gatekeeping. We need to be extra careful not to let these mess up our chemicals. And here's a good example, adapted from a man named Bert. Bert was useless. Completely useless. He once confessed to his sister that I am nothing but a burden to my family, and perhaps it'd be better if I was never born at all. He struggled in school, for his teachers had already decided that Bert was stupid, and they made sure to deliver that message to his future employers. They effectively blacklisted Bert from getting a job. And since Bert could not find a job, he fell into depression and thought he was useless. When he had his next interview, the interviewer was already thoroughly noted by his teachers of how useless Bert was. When he asked Bert why he should hire him, Bert replied, I don't know. But the interviewer just stared at him, not because of his honesty, but because he could solve problems a useless man could never dream of. So the interviewer began to ask more questions, and after a few hours, he decided to give Bert a chance, a proper job at the patent office. And guess what happened next? After a few years of his newfound identity, the idiot known as Bert, who his teachers had all doomed to failure, is now known as one of the greatest minds in human history. Albert Einstein. Here's an image of trees, in all the wrong conditions. No water, no soil, no sunlight, and you'll notice that they're all the same tree. Like Bert, if you put yourself in the wrong environment, people are going to say mean fictional things about you, and worst of all, you may accidentally believe that for the rest of your life. In this case, you must change your hierarchy. As Bert escaped the school hierarchy to the patent office and became a man with a stable job, if you change your hierarchy, your identity changes with it. Then how do we change our hierarchies? If you may, I would like to drift your attention to this chart. Research states that 36% of US adults can't do 5 push-ups, and over 53.8% can't do 10. This means if you can do 6 push-ups, which is about 30 seconds of exercise, you are better than 3 out of 10 people you meet on the streets. And if you spend 50 seconds doing 11 push-ups, you are better than half the people you meet on the streets. I'm trying to offer new perspectives on how to win with minimum time investment. I personally do not enjoy investing too much time on an activity, so this is the minimum time investment that is required. Here's a few more. 45% of young men have never asked someone out face to face. Roughly 15% of men report having no close friends at all, up from 3% in the 1990s, and 63% of men under 30 describe themselves as single. Like this, there are many hierarchies you can use to get that chemical boost to stay mentally fit. Remember, you never want to believe in something that makes you feel or think weak. But if your job is making you feel miserable, and it's too good to quit, no worries. There is an adapted example used by famous primatologist Robert Sapolsky, that can help you. This is a man who's at the bottom of the hierarchy for 40 hours a week, but maintains his positivity and motivation by standing on top of the athletic hierarchy the moment he steps foot on that field. Let's translate this. In my country, I know some women who change their hierarchies by attending dancing classes, Pilates, maybe buying an expensive purse, which I think is the worst of the three. And in the case of men, I know someone who changed their hierarchy by driving their friends and family members around. So going to the hospital, moving houses, going to the airport, which I think is one of the better ways to feel useful and important. Now, let's go back into something more practical. What are the best ways to garner small wins? As I researched this topic, I stumbled upon some interesting things. Some people would put money in a jar each time they got a small win. Some people would text their mothers with positive emojis about their accomplishments. And professional gamers seem to fist bump every time they accomplish something. But what I recommend the most is journaling your success. There was a study where after each day, employees were asked an open-minded question. Briefly describe one event today that stood out. Then the participants would take some time to think, then quietly smile as they realize something. This is because rewards take around 5 to 10 seconds to kick in, and most of our rewards stay dormant because we just don't notice them. Journaling is like withdrawing from a sleeping bank account we forgot we even had. I think for most men it's going to be stocks. You buy some stocks years ago and then you completely forgot about it, and then you look back years later to notice that something is there, and you look at the stocks and you realize the price hasn't changed at all. Anyways, if you journal, you'll be more articulate, you'll have better self-awareness, you'll know who you are, what you want, and you can also get a chemical bonus. Okay, now how long do we have to do this? Because obviously we're very busy and we can't keep doing this forever. It's case by case, so I prepared a simple model to help you get a good guess. We'll set it to 66 days, which is around 2 months. And what you want to do is, it's not going to be push-ups, it's not going to be talking to random people, it's not going to be fighting against smaller, sedated humans. What we are going to do is 2 things. First, we're going to think of a person that we think is average. And what we're going to do is, we're going to be just 1% better than that person. And second, in order for the winner effect to kick in, the tasks you engage in must be meaningfully challenging. And what meaningfully challenging means, usually are the tasks you fear most. So you want to do what you fear most. Fear reveals a task, and envy helps us measure exactly how much we completed that task. You want to utilize your emotions to find out exactly what activities are worth your time. Finally, as one of my military seniors always used to say, you gotta make a fool of yourself now, so you don't make a fool of yourself later. Or worse, if you don't make a fool of yourself now, you'll never be the fool at all. And I'm certain we've at least met one person in our lives that has never been the fool at all. Tigers fail 90% of their hunt. They miss large the first time, and they keep missing the next. But as they keep trying, they get closer and closer each time. We call this overshooting, and the implications are this. There is no such thing as failure or success. There is only experience, there's only progress, there's only movement. Thank you very much for watching till the end. I hope you guys fist bump and high five to stay strong and confident, and I'll see you guys next time.